Hey guys, welcome back. We're actually going to take a look at Butch from the Powerpuff Girls, one of the rowdy rough boys, one of the cooler characters, one of the coolest villains in Powerpuff Girls history. They were just pretty rad. They were really up there. They were like really powerful and right up there with the Powerpuff Girls. So it's really cool. So let's go ahead and break this guy down. And he's, it's pretty similar to the Powerpuff Girls, but maybe this is your first one, so we'll break him down anyways. All right. So, like I said before, the Powerpuff Girls are really easy to draw, but they're really hard as well, because I don't know if you've ever tried to draw them and not go about it the right way, and the perspective is off, or one little mistake with the Powerpuff Girls or Rowdy Rough Boys and the drawing is almost toast. So let's go ahead and map out his, basically, it's a big old watermelon for a head. There you go. And already, so then we want to map out, first thing we want to do is, usually choose the position what they're looking for, and he's looking kind of over there, so we'll put his line of action for his face, and that's what we use to find where we divide the eyes. So basically the line of action is just basically down the middle, so wherever your head is facing, if it's facing, in a front view or 3/4 or, side view, that's, where your line of action is. And then the body line of action, right there. So then we can use that to map out. And then if you want to draw that body, I usually just use a square, and then we can come over here and just kind of clean it up. And then that's how you can usually find that. So we have a line of action, and you just usually use a square, and that way you get all the proportions correct. Because that's the problem, and why I had before with drawing the Powerpuff Girls. I didn't kind of map them out, and like once you start drawing and drawing and drawing them, then you kind of need to use those things less, because it's more muscle memory. But mapping them out will help you see those shapes in your mind, so you can draw them whenever you want without having to use a reference image. So and then I usually say this, I always draw circles where I want their feet and their hands to go, and you can see that. And let's try a different color right there, so because there's a lot of green. So right there, and then what we just do is come over here and clean that up, and then you see how just with those circles right there, I find out where their arms and limbs go. And then we want to map out their hair. His hair kind of comes around. So we just kind of treat it like a three-dimensional object, and then we use that center line to find out where the part of his hair is, and there we go. We just have his hair down, and we use that center guideline to find out where his eyes go, and just keep that right there in the middle. And he's kind of in a mad position. But their eyes, basically their eyes, when we draw their, let's kind of go ahead and get this on here. And their eyes usually are just kind of like these big ovals that almost take up most of their body. And you can draw him frowning right here. And he has a little, kind of like an upside down L for hair. And then just draw. See, with that, we already got his body. And we can map out. Draw a circle, and you can draw another circle here, and that's how we use those techniques to how to draw those characters in whatever pose you can think of. And I just want you to go ahead and draw lots of stick figures, because that's actually going to help you a lot of times when you want to see your character doing a motion. And a lot of times if you're thinking of Batman throwing a punch, when you close your eyes, it's not that easy to remember. But if you draw a stick figure of Batman, just kind of like coming in here and boom, laying it on there, that's a bad stick figure. Yes, I need to practice my stick figures as well. And he's kind of like got his arm back, and he's got his leg right here, and he's got like that. He's really throwing that punch, and he's punching the guy. Oh, right there. See. But drawing stick figures too is going to help, and that's going to help you kind of like get your character poses down. Because a lot of times when I was first drawing, I didn't want to draw stick figures, I just wanted to draw cool things. And that's why I got a lot of my proportion wrong, and that's why I had problems kind of trying to imagine my character doing a cool pose. So, you know, another assignment to do while you're working on this is, like, you know, look for a comic book or look for something and just draw those figures, but just draw them in stick figures. And if you do that, that's actually going to be a homework assignment. I know, homework on YouTube, but it's actually fun. It's going to help you get better at drawing. If you do like a sketchbook just on stick figures, you're really going to learn to draw poses and all that kind of stuff. So when you start, you know, rendering them out, rendering means, like, you know, drawing them like all nice and neat, you know, you'll have those character poses down. Well, anyways, guys, I want to thank you for joining me on this character breakdown for our boy right here. Our boy Butch. And definitely want to thank you for joining me in that. And if you guys have any requests for any characters you'd like us to draw, send those requests to request@mahalo.com. And our next video is we're going to take those techniques and we're going to draw them. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hey, what's up, guys? I almost forgot. I want you guys to send me your drawings. That's right. You can email me a copy or do it old school and just mail it to me, and I'll post it up in my office. And I'll even make a video with your drawing. And if you want me or any of my art friends to teach you how to draw your favorite character, send those requests to request@mahalo.com. All right, guys, thanks for watching.